is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for the solo variant for Red Rising. If you want to know our thoughts on the multiplayer, definitely go check out that discussion, or if you want to see how it's played with multiple people, go check out the run-through for it. Other than that, let's talk about the solo variant, which is not that fun. It is very, very just okay. The best thing about the solo variant is the name they gave it. Out of every name that they have given their solo variant, this one has the best one because it fits with the theme extremely well. It's actually the only thing in this entire game that fits with the theme of Red Rising, and that's just how they name their people. This is a very go through the motions kind of game. I mean, it's simple, so that's another plus for it. It is extremely simple to learn, and because you basically just you draw a card for the Automa. You play like normal, but you draw a card for the Automa. It drops a card and it picks up a card, and you just add it to a deck of cards. That's that. It just has its deck of cards. You can slightly maybe mitigate what cards it needs to take, because you're trying to it'll get less points for things if it doesn't meet even or odd. So you can be like, oh, I don't want to play even cards, or I want to cover even cards, so it'll be forced to take odds and only get 3 points for each. But boy, is that just too much thought process for a solo variant like this. The fact that I'm not even saying it's unbalanced. The scores in the run through were extremely close, 14-point difference. That's one better card, in your hand than more helium, or going on the Institute more. But at the end of the day, it's just so boring. There is not enough for you to do on your turn. You get however the cards happen to come out, you just get, okay, well, I'm gonna go for this ability, and I'm just gonna hold these cards in my hand. My hand's not bad, but it's just, I just don't really like it, because then once you have a solid hand, you're just like, oh, now I gotta wait for the game to end, because it's going to go on longer than what you want it to. Alright, well, maybe I can get a card that's better, but nope, probably not, because I don't know what the Automa is going to do, and if I play a card that might bump me up 2 more points on the fleet track, it might take that one, so I want the 35 points I'm going to get for it, so it's just not worth risking. So therefore, you're just going to scout just to try and end the game the way you need it to, or maybe the Automa will end it before you. It's like playing Fantasy Realms by yourself, and I don't get that. It's like, oh yeah, I get to build the best hand compared to who? Just build a hand. Just say you built it. Actually, don't even play this. Just say you built a good hand, and then just go play something that's way better. Because even the only thing that makes the multiplayer better than this one is the fact that you are competing with a better hand with other players. Did I have the better synergy of my 5 to 7 cards than the other players? And then you tally it up, and then there is some kind of take that where I'm gonna make you lose a card or banish a card, or I pick an opponent, we both gain something. Oh, I know you probably really want this card, so I'm going to cover it up, or I'm going to take it. Yeah, there's none of that here. The fact that this is just an arbitrary second deck that just gets built, you just mindlessly, oh, I'm drawing this card. Oh, okay, well, oh, look, there's a gold going on C. Oh, it's taking that one, so that's just going there. You don't ever really get to see interesting combos of deployments. It obviously doesn't make any decisions. Really, it's just kind of a generic computer that is forcing you to kind of play a simple hand building game by yourself, and that's not fun. That's not fun to me. It's short, yeah, that's not bad, but even you even miss out what little theme there actually is in this game. you miss out on that even more in this one because no one else is sharing. Oh, I kind of get why these two people want to be together. Because you have no one to talk to about that, so you're just like, yeah, oh yeah, I know, and you're internalizing it, so you just basically ignore it. But then it's just like, oh, who's coming out? Oh, it's the investor. Oh, no, but he's taking that one. Oh, okay, well, let me try and, ooh, okay, I could really use that Invictus card, so I'm not going to cover it up, and I hope no one else takes it, and, alright, I'm going to draw, and, oh, okay, the Automa just took it, and now that's gone. It means nothing. It means nothing to the other player. You sure as shit do not feel like you're playing against another human. So it's just, alright, that is going to be, oh, it wants evens? Well, that's just a three-pointer card. They try to balance it out. I mean, the balancing of the scoring does work. Like, it just gets a base 70, depending on the difficulty. In normal, it gets a base 70. And then it's like, alright, well, you just now organize them into evens and odds, and whatever the matching gets 6 points per card, and then the unmatching gets 3 points, and it's like, alright, I mean, why not just shuffle the deck and like shuffle this and just be like, oh, okay, here are their cards. Now let me just play the game and see if I just say that the Automa gets, on difficulty 2, it gets 285 points. Try to beat 285 points. Play the game like you normally would, and beat that score. Just have a high score. Don't have this arbitrary side deck just to give an excuse to give your game a solo mode. There's you don't feel like you're competing, like, at least I didn't. I never felt like I was competing with the Institute. I never felt like I was competing for Helium. Never felt like I was competing for the fleet, because it just got that stuff. Like, it gets to go twice, so chances are it's either, and I know that's their way of trying to shorten the game, but it's alright. It's going to, it draws 2 cards. Alright, it's taken from A. Well, A, it's getting a Helium. Oh, this card, it's taken from C. It's going on the Institute. No other player gets to do that. So I already don't like solo modes that give the AI free shit while you're struggling. And I'm not saying you struggle in this game to go up on the fleet or Institute or gain helium. You really don't. You can actively decide what you want to gain, and most cards give you, oh, hey, if you have more influence on the Institute track, gain 1 more. And it's like, oh, okay, and then I'm going to take for Mars. So you can take 2 things. It's not like out of the question. But you don't always get to take 2 things. You, as the player, are very, very limited by what is out there. The Automa is not in any way. These cards, the wording, just out the goddamn window for the Automa. It only matters on, it's just a hindrance for you, because it's like, oh, I could use this one. Oh, it just happened to take it. And now that's 6 or 3 points, once again in level 2. So you are just hoping that good cards happen to come out on the turn that you can take them. And with the 112 cards that are in this game, you're most likely never going to get to see the fucking the card that you might need. Half the time I was like, oh, I need an Obsidian. Well, it's too deep in there for me to get, so I'll just go for this one. I mean, my hand ended up not being that bad, but I had to basically circumnavigate, so I couldn't compete on the Institute, couldn't really compete with Helium. And I mean, the fleet thing was the only one I happened to get, and even then it was so close behind me that it didn't matter. I got 6 more points than it did. Ooh, yeah, 6 more points than it did. So that was basically useless. It's just this game, 1, didn't need to exist, and 2, the solo variant didn't need to exist. It was almost like, oh, they named their people Au something, AU something last name, family last name. We have an Automa, Au Toma. That's genius. Now shit, how can we make a subpar solo variant for it? What if we just make it take cards? Brilliant. So yeah, give that guy a raise. It's just not fun. It's too long to even be a filler, so it's not like you can play a quick game of Red Rising. Like, even the solo variant, which was significantly shorter, not significantly, but that was shorter than a multiplayer game, is still like 20, 30, 40 times longer than a standard game of Fantasy Realms, and it's the exact same thing. Except Fantasy Realms didn't make a bullshit Automa system for its game. I mean, yeah, like, I really have no positives for it. Like, it doesn't affect you really on your turn. Like, I mean, positives for solo variants that I tend to like are ones that you get to play the game, and the Automa just does its own thing. So you get to play and you still do a strategy against another player. For example, Anachrony is a game where you are playing your game, and the brilliant, best solo variant that is in Anachrony is actually playing the game as well. Because I don't really like whenever it's like you are now having to play all weird to fit an AI. So you don't have to do that here. You get to play a hand-building game. You get to play Red Rising like normal. Once again, plug, go check out the discussion for that. But then you just do math. You do math at the very end for two people, and it's like I just don't get it. I don't get it because once again, I don't know who. I'm gonna say this again. I said it in the regular discussion. I don't see who this game is for. It's too long to be a filler game, and so it's like, okay, well that's already out the window. If you were trying to compete with Fantasy Realms and you're, an hour of a game, 45 minutes to an hour. I mean, the box says 45 minutes to an hour, and Fantasy Realms takes 10 minutes. You're already 6 times longer. So, okay, well, that's out the window. And if you're like, oh, well, I don't really care for the generic fantasy, I want Red Rising because I'm a huge fan of the book series, even then, the theme doesn't benefit this game. There is 0 aspects of this. If you have read the first book, like I have, this is nothing like that. This could be rethemed literally to anything. And I guarantee you it would at least be better. Fantasy Realms works so well because it is just generic, and you are just really just kind of building a hand instead of trying to weirdly make things work here. And then you play the Automa, and any semblance of theme is out the window because the Automa doesn't give a shit. It's just trying to amass cards to make it 6 or 3 points. You're essentially beating a high score. That's kind of what it comes down to. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, 3. I really, really do not like this Automa. And that's the thing, is it's not even a bad system, if that makes any sense. Like, it works. Like, hey, if this was their goal, they did it. I just think it is such an absolutely unnecessary shoehorn in that anything that it did benefit from with having multiple people, it automatically just removes those. So that was just, oh hey, there were some maybe good things with the multiplayer game, but now that's gone, so now it's just a worse game. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the solo variant for Red Rising. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.